My wife claims she accidentally got intimate with her spinning instructor because the dark room and loud music made her think it was her husband. I checked the gym's class schedule and found they'd been meeting for private sessions. So I canceled her membership and filed for divorce. I'm a 33-year-old software engineer, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had a healthy marriage built on trust and communication. My wife Amanda and I have been together for 6 years, married for 4. We met at a friend's wedding where we bonded over being the only two people who didn't know how to dance. Amanda works as a marketing manager for a tech startup, and we've always supported each other's careers and personal interests. About 8 months ago, Amanda decided she wanted to get more serious about fitness. She'd always been active but wanted to try something new and challenging. After researching different options, she settled on spinning classes at an upscale fitness studio near her office. She was excited about the high-energy workouts and the positive reviews she'd read online. Amanda started attending spinning classes 3 times per week during her lunch breaks. She'd come home energized and enthusiastic, talking about how much she loved the intense cardio and the motivating atmosphere. She said the instructors were professional athletes who really knew how to push people to achieve their fitness goals. Within a few weeks, Amanda was raving about one instructor in particular, a guy named Jake who taught the advanced classes. According to Amanda, Jake was an incredible motivator who helped people break through their mental barriers and achieve results they didn't think were possible. She said his classes were always packed because he had this ability to make everyone feel like they could conquer anything. Amanda started scheduling her gym sessions around Jake's class schedule. She'd check the studio's app religiously to make sure she could attend his sessions, and she'd be disappointed on days when he wasn't teaching. When I teased her about having a favorite instructor, she laughed and said all the regular students had preferences based on teaching style and personality. About 3 months into her spinning obsession, Amanda started staying at the gym longer after classes. She said she was using the time to stretch, do additional cardio, or chat with other fitness enthusiasts about their routines. She'd often get home an hour or 2 later than expected, explaining that she'd gotten caught up talking to people about nutrition or workout strategies. Amanda also started dressing differently for the gym. She bought expensive workout clothes, new athletic shoes, and even splurged on professional fitness accessories. When I commented on how much she was spending on gym gear, she said investing in quality equipment was important for preventing injuries and maximizing performance. Around the same time, Amanda became very protective of her phone, especially around her fitness apps and social media. She said the spinning studio had a private social media group where members shared workout tips and encouraged each other, but that it was meant to be a safe space so she couldn't show me the posts. 4 months ago, Amanda started attending what she called specialized training sessions outside of regular class times. She said Jake offered private coaching for advanced students who wanted to take their fitness to the next level. These sessions were apparently more expensive but worth it for the personalized attention and customized workout plans. The private sessions became more frequent, and Amanda's schedule became increasingly unpredictable. She'd text me during the day to say she had a last-minute training opportunity, or that Jake had offered to work with her after hours when the studio was less crowded. She always seemed energized and happy after these sessions. About 2 months ago, I suggested that we could work out together sometimes, maybe taking couples classes or going to the gym as a shared activity. Amanda said she appreciated the thought but that her current routine was very specific to her fitness goals, and that having me there might disrupt her focus and progress. I also offered to meet Jake and learn more about the program that was making Amanda so happy. She said the studio preferred to keep training relationships professional and that bringing spouses into the environment could create distractions for other members. 3 weeks ago, Amanda came home from what she said was an evening training session acting strange. She was quiet and seemed upset, avoiding eye contact and giving short answers to my questions about her day. When I asked if everything was okay, she said she was just tired from an especially challenging workout. The next morning, Amanda sat me down and said she needed to tell me something that had happened at the gym. She was crying before she even started talking, which immediately made me panic about what she might say. Amanda said that during her training session the night before, something terrible had happened that she never intended. She said the studio's evening sessions were conducted in very dim lighting with loud music to create an intense atmosphere. During a particularly challenging workout, she'd become disoriented and confused. "I thought Jake was you," she said through tears. "The lighting was so dark and the music was so loud that I couldn't think clearly. When he came over to help me with my form, I thought you had come to surprise me at the gym." I stared at her in confusion. "What do you mean you thought Jake was me?" Amanda explained that she'd become intimate with Jake during the training session because she genuinely believed he was me. She said the sensory overload from the workout, combined with a dark environment, had made her confused about who she was with. She said she only realized her mistake afterward when the lights came up. "Amanda, how could you confuse Jake for me? We don't look anything alike." Amanda said the combination of exhaustion, darkness, and loud music had created a perfect storm of confusion. She insisted that she would never intentionally be intimate with anyone else and that the whole situation was a terrible accident caused by the disorienting environment. I was stunned by her explanation. The idea that someone could become so confused during a workout that they'd mistake their instructor for their spouse seemed impossible to me. I asked Amanda to walk me through exactly what had happened, but her explanation kept changing and becoming more vague. "So you're saying you accidentally had intimate with your spinning instructor because you thought he was me?" Amanda nodded miserably. I know how it sounds, but I swear I thought it was you. Jake said he was confused too and thought I was responding to him in a way that meant I wanted him to help me with a different kind of workout. The more Amanda tried to explain, the less sense her story made. I couldn't understand how two people could become so confused about what was happening that they'd engage in intimate activity by accident. The mechanics of the situation didn't align with her explanation about environmental disorientation. Amanda begged me to forgive her for the terrible mistake and promised it would never happen again. She said she'd already told Jake that what happened was inappropriate and that she'd be finding a new gym. She said she was willing to do whatever it took to rebuild my trust and save our marriage. For the next few days, I tried to process Amanda's explanation and figure out how to move forward. Part of me wanted to believe that it had been a genuine mistake, because the alternative was that my wife had deliberately cheated on me with her fitness instructor and then lied about it. But something about her story bothered me. I kept thinking about how she could have been so disoriented that she didn't know who she was with, but functional enough to engage in intimate activity. I also wondered why Jake would have gone along with the situation if he was equally confused. A week after Amanda's confession, I decided to visit the spinning studio to see the environment where this supposed confusion had occurred. I told the front desk staff that my wife was a member and that I was interested in potentially joining as well. The staff was friendly and gave me a tour of the facilities. When we got to the spinning room, I was surprised by what I saw. The room was well lit with adjustable lighting that could be dimmed but never completely dark. The music was loud during classes but not so overwhelming that you couldn't have a conversation. I asked about evening training sessions, and the staff said they didn't offer private coaching after regular hours due to insurance and liability policies. All personal training had to be conducted during normal business hours with multiple staff members present. When I asked specifically about Jake, the staff member looked confused and said they didn't have an instructor by that name. She showed me photos of all their current instructors, and none of them matched Amanda's description of Jake. I left the studio feeling confused and suspicious. Either Amanda had made up the instructor's name, or she was attending a different gym than the one she'd told me about. I decided to check our credit card statements to see where her gym membership payments were actually going. The credit card records show that Amanda's gym membership was indeed at the studio I'd visited, but there were also regular charges to a different fitness facility across town. This second gym was a smaller, more exclusive place that offered private training and specialized classes. I called the second gym and asked about their instructors. When I mentioned Jake's name, the receptionist immediately knew who I was talking about. She said Jake was one of their most popular private trainers and that he specialized in one-on-one sessions with female clients. I decided to visit this second gym to see what Amanda had really been doing during her spinning classes. The facility was much smaller and more intimate than the mainstream studio she'd claimed to attend. The staff offered me a tour, and I asked specifically about their spinning program. The gym did offer spinning classes, but they were only held twice a week and were always conducted with full lighting for safety reasons. When I asked about private training sessions, the staff said Jake did offer individual coaching but that it typically focused on strength training and nutrition rather than cardio classes. I asked to see the spinning room, and it was nothing like what Amanda had described. It was a small, brightly lit space with clear sight lines and normal acoustics. There was no way anyone could become disoriented or confused about their surroundings in that environment. When I got home, I confronted Amanda with what I'd discovered. She immediately became defensive and accused me of spying on her and violating her privacy. She said I was being paranoid and controlling by investigating her gym activities. Amanda, you've been lying to me about which gym you attend, and the gym you're actually using doesn't have the kind of environment that could cause the confusion you described. Amanda tried to claim that she'd been attending both gyms and had gotten confused about which one the incident happened at. She said the details weren't important and that I was missing the point about her being genuinely sorry for what had occurred. The gym where you actually train doesn't offer evening sessions, and their spinning room is completely different from what you described. How could you have been confused about who you were with in a well-lit room with normal acoustics? That's when Amanda finally broke down and admitted that her explanation hadn't been entirely accurate. She said she'd been working with Jake for private training sessions and that they'd developed a personal connection over time. She said the intimacy had been consensual but that she'd regretted it immediately afterward. So you weren't confused about who I was. You deliberately had an affair with your personal trainer and then lied about it being an accident. Amanda said the situation was complicated and that her feelings for Jake had developed gradually through their training relationship. She said she'd never intended for anything physical to happen, but that their connection had become stronger than she'd expected. I asked Amanda how long the affair had been going on, and she admitted it had been several months. The specialized training sessions and evening workouts had all been covered for their relationship. She'd been using our joint credit card to pay for the private training sessions that were actually dates. Amanda begged me to understand that her relationship with Jake was just physical and didn't threaten our marriage. She said he was just a fitness instructor who had helped her feel confident about her body, but that I was her husband and the person she wanted to build a life with. I told Amanda that I needed time to process what she'd told me and that she should stay with a friend while I figured out next steps. She cried and promised to end things with Jake immediately if I would just give her another chance to prove her commitment to our marriage. But the damage was done. Amanda had not only cheated on me but had created an elaborate lie about being confused and disoriented to avoid taking responsibility for her choices. She'd made me feel sorry for her while she was actually having an ongoing affair. I contacted a divorce attorney and filed for divorce citing adultery. I also canceled Amanda's membership at both gyms and removed her access to our joint credit cards. If she wanted to continue her relationship with Jake, she could do it on her own dime. The divorce process has been straightforward since Amanda's affair was well documented through the gym payments and her own admissions. She's tried to argue that her relationship with Jake was just a midlife crisis and that it didn't represent her true feelings about our marriage. Amanda's family and friends have been split in their reactions. Some think I'm being too harsh and that everyone makes mistakes in long-term relationships. Others think her elaborate lie about being confused was unforgivable and that I'm right to end the marriage. But I keep coming back to the fact that Amanda didn't just cheat on me, she created a detailed story about being accidentally intimate due to environmental confusion. She was prepared to let me believe that she'd made an innocent mistake while she was actually conducting a months-long affair. Amanda has been trying to reconcile, saying that ending things with Jake made her realize how much our marriage means to her. She's offered to attend couples therapy and has promised complete transparency about her activities and relationships. However, I can't get past the elaborate deception. Someone who could look me in the eye and blame their affair on dark lighting and loud music is someone who will lie about anything when it's convenient. I'd rather start over than spend my life wondering what else Amanda might be lying about. So Reddit, was I wrong to divorce Amanda over her affair with her personal trainer? Should I have been more understanding about her claim that it started as confusion and became consensual? Or was I right to end the marriage when I discovered the extent of her deception? Update, thank you to everyone who responded with support and shared similar experiences. Reading your comments helped me feel confident that I'd made the right decision about ending my marriage. Amanda found this post yesterday and called me absolutely furious. She said I was humiliating her by sharing details about our private life and making her sound like a calculating cheater when the situation had been more complicated than I was describing. The conversation got heated when she said, "You're making me sound like some kind of predator when Jake and I just developed feelings for each other naturally. You're acting like I planned the whole thing when it just happened organically." I reminded her that she'd initially claimed the intimacy was accidental due to confusion, and that I'd only discovered the truth through my own investigation. She said I was being vindictive by focusing on those details instead of understanding the emotional complexity of what had happened. 2 interesting updates since then. First, I found out that Jake has been running the same scheme with multiple married clients. Another woman from the gym contacted me after recognizing details from my post, and she said Jake had convinced her that her husband didn't appreciate her physical transformation the way he did. Second, Amanda's employer found out about her use of company time for personal training sessions when someone forwarded them my post. She'd been claiming the extended lunch breaks were for networking events, but the gym payments showed she was actually meeting Jake during work hours. Amanda lost her job for misrepresenting her activities during company time, and she's been struggling to find new employment since the affair became public knowledge in our social circle. She's been telling people that I ruined her life over a minor mistake that could have been worked through with counseling. The divorce was finalized last week. Amanda received a minimal settlement since her affair was well documented and she'd used marital funds for the relationship. She's been posting on social media about starting fresh and learning to value herself properly. "I'm doing much better now. I've started working out at a legitimate gym with proper professional boundaries, and I've been dating someone who understands the importance of honesty in relationships. It's refreshing to be with someone who solves problems through communication rather than elaborate lies. Thanks again for all the support. This experience taught me to trust my instincts when something doesn't make sense, and to value honesty over the comfort of believing convenient explanations."